I'm Elena, your host, and today we are covering something that confuses almost every learner the moment they start living around real American English. Americans complain constantly about the weather, about traffic, about their jobs, about their families, about their own bodies. And yet, if you actually listen closely, you will notice something strange. Very few of those complaints sound like complaints. They sound like small talk. They sound like jokes. They sound like shrugs turned into sentences. Here is the cultural key that unlocks this entire pattern. American culture has a deep, almost contradictory relationship with negativity. On one hand, Americans are taught from childhood to stay positive, to avoid being seen as someone who complains too much, a Debbie Downer, a negative person. On the other hand, Americans are human beings with real frustrations, real exhaustion, real annoyance at the world, just like everyone else on this planet. So what happens? An entire vocabulary was born to solve this contradiction, a way to express real frustration while still sounding upbeat, light, even funny, a way to vent without technically complaining. This is why an American can say, I'm exhausted, but who isn't? And somehow that sentence carries real exhaustion and social ease at exactly the same time. If you do not know this vocabulary, you will either think Americans never complain at all, which is completely wrong, or you will completely miss the very real frustration hiding underneath a sentence that sounds casual and light. Today, we are learning the entire system, 6 categories, 25 phrases each, 150 phrases for finally understanding how Americans actually vent, grumble, and complain in a language that always tries to sound like it isn't. For every phrase, I will give you the meaning, the real feeling underneath it, the context, and a natural example. Say every example out loud after me. Let us begin. Category 1, the casual vent, everyday small frustrations. This is the most common category, the tiny, constant frustrations of daily life. Traffic, weather, technology, waiting in line. Americans have built an entire light, breezy vocabulary for expressing annoyance about small things without sounding genuinely upset. Phrase 1. It's fine, but... Meaning. A phrase that opens with acceptance before revealing a real complaint underneath. Context. Describing something mildly annoying that you're choosing not to make a big deal of. Example. It's fine, but the AC in my car hasn't worked in like 2 months. Repeat. It's fine, but... Phrase 2. Not gonna lie, that was rough. Meaning, a casual admission of genuine difficulty, softened by the informal opener. Context. Reflecting on something that was more difficult than expected. Example. Not gonna lie, that meeting was rough. I don't think I said one useful thing. Repeat. Not gonna lie, that was rough. Phrase 3. It's been a day. Meaning, a compact way of signaling that something has gone wrong without listing details. Context. Responding to how are you after a stressful or annoying day. Example. It's been a day, honestly. Let's just say I'm ready for it to be over. Repeat. It's been a day. Phrase 4. I can't even. Meaning, an expression of being too overwhelmed or annoyed to fully articulate a reaction. Context: responding to something mildly ridiculous or frustrating. Example: the printer jammed for the 4th time today. I can't even. Repeat: I can't even. Phrase 5. This is a whole thing. Meaning: a situation has become more complicated or annoying than it should be. Context: describing a minor issue that has escalated unnecessarily. Example: returning this package has become a whole thing. 3 phone calls and still nothing. Repeat: this is a whole thing. Phrase 6. I'm over it. Meaning: a statement of exhausted resignation about a recurring or ongoing annoyance. Context: expressing fatigue with a persistent problem. Example: the construction outside my window has been going on for a month. I'm over it. Repeat: I'm over it. Phrase 7. Cool, cool, cool. Meaning: an ironic, flat repetition used to signal quiet frustration or disbelief, without saying so directly. Context: responding to unwelcome or frustrating news with forced calm. Example: so the flight's delayed another 2 hours? Cool, cool, cool. Love that for me. Repeat: cool, cool, cool. Phrase 8. That tracks. Meaning: an expression of unsurprised, mildly resigned acknowledgement that something frustrating fits an established pattern. Context: reacting to bad news that somehow feels expected. Example: the Wi-Fi just went out again. Yeah, that tracks. Repeat: that tracks. Phrase 9. Living the dream. Meaning: an ironic phrase used to describe a mundane or mildly frustrating situation as if it were wonderful. Context: responding to a question about how things are going when they are not going particularly well. Example: how's the job hunt going? Oh, living the dream. Sent out 12 applications this week. Repeat: living the dream. Phrase 10. I'm just saying. Meaning: a closing phrase that softens a complaint by framing it as a passing observation rather than a demand. Context: ending a mild complaint to avoid sounding overly critical. Example: this is the 3rd time the order's been wrong. I'm just saying. Repeat: I'm just saying. Phrase 11. No offense, but that traffic was insane. Meaning: a complaint framed as an objective observation, with no offense used to preempt any perceived criticism. Context: describing a frustrating commute or drive. Example: no offense, but that traffic was insane. Took me an hour to go 5 miles. Repeat: no offense, but that traffic was insane. Phrase 12. It's giving chaos. Meaning: a modern, casual way of describing a disorganized or overwhelming situation. Context: describing a chaotic environment or event. Example: the kitchen during the lunch rush, it's giving chaos. Repeat: it's giving chaos. Phrase 13. I'm not mad, just disappointed. Meaning: an ironic, often humorous phrase minimizing real annoyance by borrowing the tone of a parent's mild scolding. Context: reacting lightly to a small letdown. Example: You ate the last slice without asking? I'm not mad, just disappointed. Repeat. I'm not mad, just disappointed. Phrase 14. This day really said, let's see how much you can handle. Meaning, a humorous, exaggerated personification of a difficult day. Context. Describing a day full of small, accumulating frustrations. Example. First, the car wouldn't start. Then I spilled coffee on myself. This day really said, let's see how much you can handle. Repeat. This day really said, let's see how much you can handle. Phrase 15. I woke up and chose chaos, apparently. Meaning, a self-deprecating, humorous way of describing an unexpectedly difficult or messy day. Context. Reflecting on a day that went sideways early. Example. 3 things broke before 9 a.m. I woke up and chose chaos, apparently. Repeat. I woke up and chose chaos, apparently. Phrase 16. Send help. Meaning, an exaggerated, playful cry for support during a minor crisis. Context. Describing a small but overwhelming situation, often in texts or social media. Example. The kids are both sick and the dishwasher just broke. Send help. Repeat. Send help. Phrase 17. That's a me problem, I guess. Meaning, a resigned, slightly self-deprecating acceptance of an unfair or frustrating outcome. Context. Accepting responsibility for a frustrating situation, even when it doesn't feel entirely fair. Example. I missed the deadline because nobody told me it changed, but that's a me problem, I guess. Repeat. That's a me problem, I guess. Phrase 18. Ask me how my day is going. Meaning, an invitation, usually sarcastic, for someone to hear about a frustrating day. Context. Signaling that you want to vent without launching directly into a complaint. Example. Ask me how my day is going. Uh-oh, how's your day going? Repeat. Ask me how my day is going. Phrase 19. This is fine. Meaning, a deadpan, ironic acknowledgement that something is, in fact, not fine. Context. Describing an ongoing minor disaster with forced calm. Example. The meeting's now an hour behind and nobody's noticed. This is fine. Repeat. This is fine. Phrase 20. I'm running on fumes. Meaning, a description of being extremely low on energy or patience. Context. Explaining exhaustion, often physical or emotional. Example. I'm running on fumes today. Didn't sleep more than 4 hours. Repeat. I'm running on fumes. Phrase 21. Every day's an adventure. Meaning, an ironic phrase describing a stressful or chaotic environment as if it were exciting. Context. Describing an unpredictable job, home life, or situation. Example. You never know what's going to break next around here. Every day's an adventure. Repeat. Every day's an adventure. Phrase 22. It's always something. Meaning, a resigned acknowledgement that problems keep arising, one after another. Context. reflecting on a pattern of ongoing minor frustrations. Example: first the car, now the roof. It's always something. Repeat: it's always something. Phrase 23. I'm not built for this. Meaning, a humorous, exaggerated complaint about being unsuited to a specific, difficult situation. Context: describing a physically or mentally demanding activity or environment. Example: this heat is unbearable. I'm not built for this. Repeat: I'm not built for this. Phrase 24. That's above my pay grade today. Meaning, a humorous way of declining to deal with a frustrating problem, framed as being outside your responsibility. Context: deflecting an additional complication during an already difficult day. Example: the printer's broken too now? That's above my pay grade today. Repeat: that's above my pay grade today. Phrase 25. I'm just going to go ahead and not. Meaning, a casual, humorous refusal that signals frustration with a request or expectation. Context: declining an additional task or demand during a stressful moment. Example: can you also handle the email chain from this morning? I'm just going to go ahead and not. Repeat: I'm just going to go ahead and not. Category 2, the self-deprecating complaint, turning frustration onto yourself. Americans very often soften complaints by directing them inward, making themselves, rather than the situation, the butt of the joke. This is a distinctly American blend of venting and humility. Phrase 26. I'm a mess, honestly. Meaning, a light, self-critical admission of being overwhelmed or disorganized. Context: describing a chaotic personal state, often with humor. Example: I've had 3 coffees and still haven't answered a single email. I'm a mess, honestly. Repeat: I'm a mess, honestly. Phrase 27. I clearly did not think this through. Meaning, a self-aware complaint about a decision that has caused unexpected difficulty. Context: reflecting on a plan or choice that turned out badly. Example: I scheduled 4 meetings back-to-back with no breaks. I clearly did not think this through. Repeat: I clearly did not think this through. Phrase 28. Why did I think that was a good idea? Meaning, a rhetorical, self-critical complaint about a past decision. Context: reacting to the consequences of an earlier choice. Example: I agreed to host Thanksgiving for 15 people. Why did I think that was a good idea? Repeat: why did I think that was a good idea? Phrase 29. I'm barely holding it together. Meaning, a humorous exaggeration of struggling to manage stress or responsibilities. Context: describing feeling overwhelmed, usually with a light tone. Example: between work and the move, I'm barely holding it together. Repeat: I'm barely holding it together. Phrase 30. I peaked too early today. Meaning, a self-deprecating complaint about running out of energy or motivation earlier than expected. Context: describing exhaustion partway through a demanding day. Example: I was so productive this morning, and now I can't string a sentence together. I peaked too early today. Repeat. I peaked too early today. Phrase 31. I'm doing my best, which isn't saying much right now. Meaning, a self-deprecating acknowledgement of low current capacity, framed with humor. Context. Responding to a check-in about how you're managing. Example. How's everything going? I'm doing my best, which isn't saying much right now. Repeat. I'm doing my best, which isn't saying much right now. Phrase 32. I'm one bad email away from losing it. Meaning, a humorous exaggeration of being close to an emotional breaking point. Context. Describing accumulated stress nearing a limit. Example. I'm one bad email away from losing it. I swear. Repeat. I'm one bad email away from losing it. Phrase 33. I really said yes to too many things. Meaning, a self-critical complaint about being overcommitted. Context. Reflecting on an overloaded schedule. Example. Between work, the move, and this project, I really said yes to too many things. Repeat. I really said yes to too many things. Phrase 34. I'm surviving. That's about it. Meaning, a minimal, self-deprecating description of getting through a difficult period without thriving. Context. Responding honestly but lightly to a question about how you're doing. Example. How's the new job? I'm surviving. That's about it. Repeat. I'm surviving. That's about it. Phrase 35. I'm not okay, but I'm functioning. Meaning, a more direct, slightly ironic admission of struggling while still managing to operate normally. Context. A candid but light response to a check-in. Example. I'm not okay, but I'm functioning, which honestly feels like a win right now. Repeat. I'm not okay, but I'm functioning. Phrase 36. I clearly overestimated myself. Meaning, a self-critical complaint about taking on more than one's current capacity allows. Context. Reflecting on an overcommitment or overly ambitious plan. Example. I said I'd finish the whole project by Friday. I clearly overestimated myself. Repeat. I clearly overestimated myself. Phrase 37. I'm one text away from canceling everything. Meaning, a humorous, exaggerated statement about feeling overwhelmed and wanting to withdraw from obligations. Context. Expressing exhaustion or social burnout. Example. I have 3 plans this weekend and I'm one text away from canceling everything. Repeat. I'm one text away from canceling everything. Phrase 38. I'm not a morning person, and today's really proving it. Meaning, a self-deprecating complaint about struggling with an early start. Context. Describing difficulty functioning early in the day. Example. I've said good morning to 3 people and meant none of it. I'm not a morning person, and today's really proving it. Repeat. I'm not a morning person, and today's really proving it. Phrase 39. I need a nap and a new personality. Meaning, a humorous, exaggerated complaint about being exhausted and irritable. Context. Describing extreme tiredness combined with a short temper. Example: after this week, I need a nap and a new personality. Repeat: I need a nap and a new personality. Phrase 40. I'm doing the best I can with what I've got. Meaning: a gentle, self-forgiving complaint acknowledging limited current resources or energy. Context: explaining reduced performance or output during a difficult time. Example: the presentation's not perfect, but I'm doing the best I can with what I've got. Repeat: I'm doing the best I can with what I've got. Phrase 41. I really thought I had this together. Meaning: a self-aware admission that a sense of control has broken down. Context: reflecting on a plan or system that has fallen apart. Example: I had a whole schedule mapped out. I really thought I had this together. Repeat: I really thought I had this together. Phrase 42. I'm out here just winging it at this point. Meaning: a self-deprecating admission of improvising due to lack of preparation or control. Context: describing a lack of structure or plan in a current situation. Example: nobody trained me on this system. I'm out here just winging it at this point. Repeat: I'm out here just winging it at this point. Phrase 43. I need to lie down, possibly forever. Meaning: a humorous exaggeration of exhaustion. Context: describing extreme tiredness after a demanding period. Example: that was the longest week of my life. I need to lie down, possibly forever. Repeat: I need to lie down, possibly forever. Phrase 44. I'm operating at like 40% today. Meaning: a self-deprecating way of describing reduced energy or focus. Context: explaining diminished performance or capacity. Example: didn't sleep well. I'm operating at like 40% today. Repeat: I'm operating at like 40% today. Phrase 45. I clearly need a vacation from my own decisions. Meaning: a humorous complaint about the consequences of one's own recent choices. Context: reflecting on a series of overcommitments or poor decisions. Example: I agreed to plan the whole event myself. I clearly need a vacation from my own decisions. Repeat: I clearly need a vacation from my own decisions. Phrase 46. I'm 2 coffees deep and still not functioning. Meaning: a self-deprecating complaint about persistent exhaustion despite attempts to fix it. Context: describing ongoing tiredness or lack of focus. Example: I'm 2 coffees deep and still not functioning. This week has wrecked me. Repeat: I'm 2 coffees deep and still not functioning. Phrase 47. I need to have a serious talk with whoever scheduled my week. Meaning: a humorous, self-directed complaint about an overloaded schedule, framed as if someone else were responsible. Context: reflecting on an unreasonably busy period. Example: 5 meetings and 3 deadlines in one day. I need to have a serious talk with whoever scheduled my week. Repeat: I need to have a serious talk with whoever scheduled my week. Phrase 48. I'm not built for this many decisions before 9 a.m. Meaning: a humorous complaint about being overwhelmed by early demands or choices. Context: describing morning overwhelm. Example, 3 urgent emails before I even had coffee. I'm not built for this many decisions before 9 a.m. Repeat, I'm not built for this many decisions before 9 a.m. Phrase 49. I said I'd be fine, and I lied. Meaning, a candid, self-aware complaint, acknowledging that an earlier reassurance wasn't accurate. Context, admitting difficulty after initially downplaying it. Example, I said I'd be fine after the move, and I lied. It's been a lot. Repeat, I said I'd be fine, and I lied. Phrase 50. I need a minute, or several. Meaning, a request for time to recover or process, softened with light humor. Context, asking for space after an overwhelming event or period. Example, that call did not go how I expected. I need a minute, or several. Repeat, I need a minute, or several. Category 3, the it is what it is resignation, complaining through acceptance. This category captures a very particular American mood, complaint disguised as calm acceptance. These phrases acknowledge that something is frustrating while performing a kind of practiced emotional detachment from it. Phrase 51. It is what it is. Meaning, a resigned acceptance of a frustrating situation that cannot be changed. Context, responding to an unavoidable inconvenience or disappointment. Example, they canceled the event with no refund. It is what it is, I guess. Repeat, it is what it is. Phrase 52. Well, that's just how it goes sometimes. Meaning, a mild, philosophical acceptance of a disappointing but unsurprising outcome. Context, reacting to a setback without significant emotional reaction. Example, didn't get the promotion this time. Well, that's just how it goes sometimes. Repeat, well, that's just how it goes sometimes. Phrase 53. Can't win 'em all. Meaning, a casual, resigned acknowledgement of a loss or failure. Context, reacting to a specific disappointing outcome. Example, lost the pitch to another agency. Can't win 'em all. Repeat, can't win 'em all. Phrase 54. That's just the way the cookie crumbles. Meaning, a light, idiomatic expression of accepting an unfortunate but minor outcome. Context, reacting to a small disappointment without frustration. Example, missed the train by 2 minutes. That's just the way the cookie crumbles. Repeat, that's just the way the cookie crumbles. Phrase 55. Nothing I can do about it now. Meaning, an acceptance of a situation as unchangeable, often used to move past frustration quickly. Context, letting go of a completed, unfixable frustration. Example, I already sent the email with the typo. Nothing I can do about it now. Repeat, nothing I can do about it now. Phrase 56. Guess that's just today's problem. Meaning, a resigned acknowledgement that a new issue has been added to an already difficult day. Context, reacting to another problem arising during a stressful period. Example, the car won't start either? Guess that's just today's problem. Repeat, guess that's just today's problem. Phrase 57. Well, at least it's not raining. Meaning, A phrase minimizing a current problem by comparing it to a hypothetical worse situation. Context. Finding a small silver lining despite ongoing frustration. Example. The tent's leaking a little, but, well, at least it's not raining. Repeat. Well, at least it's not raining. Phrase 58. Such is life. Meaning, a brief philosophical acceptance of an ordinary disappointment. Context. Reacting calmly to a minor setback. Example. Missed the sale by 1 day. Such is life. Repeat. Such is life. Phrase 59. You win some, you lose some. Meaning, a balanced, resigned acceptance that not everything will go your way. Context. Reacting to a mixed outcome or a specific loss. Example. Didn't get the apartment we wanted. You win some, you lose some. Repeat. You win some, you lose some. Phrase 60. I've made my peace with it. Meaning, a statement of arrived at acceptance after initial frustration. Context. Reflecting on a long-standing, unresolved annoyance. Example. The neighbors are loud every weekend. I've made my peace with it at this point. Repeat. I've made my peace with it. Phrase 61. That's just part of the deal, I guess. Meaning, an acceptance of an unwanted aspect as an inherent part of a larger, otherwise acceptable situation. Context. Reflecting on a downside of an overall positive arrangement, like a job or living situation. Example. The commute's brutal, but that's just part of the deal, I guess. Repeat. That's just part of the deal, I guess. Phrase 62. What can you do? Meaning, a rhetorical, resigned phrase acknowledging helplessness about a minor frustration. Context. Responding to an unavoidable inconvenience. Example. The flight got delayed again. What can you do? Repeat. What can you do? Phrase 63. I'm choosing not to let it ruin my day. Meaning, a deliberate, somewhat performative decision to remain unbothered despite frustration. Context. Responding to a setback with intentional composure. Example. They messed up my order again, but I'm choosing not to let it ruin my day. Repeat. I'm choosing not to let it ruin my day. Phrase 64. It's a Monday. What do you expect? Meaning, a humorous acceptance of minor frustrations attributed to a difficult day of the week. Context. Reacting to small annoyances early in the work week. Example. Coffee machine's broken. Traffic was terrible. It's a Monday. What do you expect? Repeat. It's a Monday. What do you expect? Phrase 65. I've stopped being surprised. Meaning, a resigned acknowledgement that repeated frustrations have become expected. Context. Reacting to a recurring problem. Example. The Wi-Fi cut out again during the call. I've stopped being surprised, honestly. Repeat. I've stopped being surprised. Phrase 66. That's just how things are right now. Meaning, an acceptance of a temporary but frustrating circumstance without demanding immediate change. Context. Describing an ongoing difficult period, like a busy work season. Example. I know I've been distant lately. That's just how things are right now. Repeat. That's just how things are right now. Phrase 67. Well, we're figuring it out as we go. Meaning, a resigned, adaptive acknowledgement of an imperfect, evolving situation. Context. Describing an unresolved or improvised approach to a problem. Example. Nobody really trained us on the new system. We're figuring it out as we go. Repeat. Well, we're figuring it out as we go. Phrase 68. I've let go of trying to control it. Meaning, a statement of deliberate acceptance regarding a situation beyond one's influence. Context. Reflecting on a frustrating but unchangeable circumstance. Example. The schedule keeps changing last minute. I've let go of trying to control it. Repeat. I've let go of trying to control it. Phrase 69. That's just part of adulting, I guess. Meaning, a modern, casual acceptance of a mundane frustration as an inherent part of adult responsibility. Context. Describing tedious or unwelcome obligations. Example. Doing taxes every year is miserable, but that's just part of adulting, I guess. Repeat. That's just part of adulting, I guess. Phrase 70. I've accepted I can't control everything. Meaning, a broader, reflective statement of resignation regarding factors outside personal control. Context. Reflecting on ongoing uncertainty or chaos. Example. Between work and everything else, I've accepted I can't control everything. Repeat. I've accepted I can't control everything. Phrase 71. Rolling with it at this point. Meaning, an adaptive, resigned approach to an ongoing chaotic or unpredictable situation. Context. Describing flexibility in response to repeated changes or problems. Example. Plans have changed 4 times already. Just rolling with it at this point. Repeat. Rolling with it at this point. Phrase 72. It'll work itself out. Probably. Meaning, a hopeful but uncertain acceptance of an unresolved problem. Context. Responding to a situation with an unclear outcome. Example. Still don't know the final head count for the event, but it'll work itself out. Probably. Repeat. It'll work itself out. Probably. Phrase 73. I'm just going with the flow at this point. Meaning, a resigned, adaptive approach to an unpredictable or chaotic period. Context. Describing a lack of firm plans due to ongoing uncertainty. Example. Nothing's confirmed yet, so I'm just going with the flow at this point. Repeat. I'm just going with the flow at this point. Phrase 74. That's just the reality of it. Meaning, a blunt but calm acceptance of an unwelcome fact. Context. Acknowledging a difficult or limiting circumstance. Example. We just don't have the budget for that this year. That's just the reality of it. Repeat. That's just the reality of it. Phrase 75. I'm not going to stress about something I can't change. Meaning, a deliberate, self-protective acceptance of an unchangeable frustration. Context. Responding to an ongoing issue outside personal control. Example. The delay isn't on us, so I'm not going to stress about something I can't change. Repeat. I'm not going to stress about something I can't change. Category 4. The workplace grumble. Professional complaints in disguise. American workplace culture makes direct complaint especially risky, so professional grumbling has developed a very specific, softened vocabulary. These phrases let coworkers vent real frustration while staying safely inside the bounds of professional norms. Phrase 76. This is a lot, but we'll get through it. Meaning, an acknowledgement of an overwhelming workload paired with a forced note of optimism. Context. Describing a heavy project or deadline crunch to a colleague. Example. 3 deadlines this week? This is a lot, but we'll get through it. Repeat. This is a lot, but we'll get through it. Phrase 77. I'm just trying to keep my head above water. Meaning, a metaphor describing barely managing to keep up with demands. Context. Responding to a check-in about workload during a busy period. Example. How's the project going? Honestly, I'm just trying to keep my head above water. Repeat. I'm just trying to keep my head above water. Phrase 78. That's an interesting choice. Meaning, a neutral-sounding phrase that carries clear disapproval underneath. Context. Reacting to a questionable decision by a colleague or manager. Example. They decided to launch without testing? That's an interesting choice. Repeat. That's an interesting choice. Phrase 79. Sure, I can add that to the list. Meaning, a phrase that accepts an additional task while subtly signaling that the list is already too long. Context. Responding to a new request during an already busy period. Example. Can you also handle the client call? Sure, I can add that to the list. Repeat. Sure, I can add that to the list. Phrase 80. Living my best corporate life. Meaning, an ironic phrase describing mundane or tedious workplace routine as if it were glamorous. Context. Describing an ordinary, unremarkable workday. Example. Another day, another spreadsheet. Living my best corporate life. Repeat. Living my best corporate life. Phrase 81. I have some thoughts, but I'll save them. Meaning, a phrase signaling disagreement or criticism that the speaker has chosen not to voice directly. Context. Declining to share a critical opinion in a professional setting. Example. What did you think of the new policy? I have some thoughts, but I'll save them. Repeat. I have some thoughts, but I'll save them. Phrase 82. That meeting could have been an email. Meaning, a common workplace complaint about unnecessary or inefficient meetings. Context. Reacting to a meeting perceived as a waste of time. Example. We spent an hour on something. That meeting could have been an email. Repeat. That meeting could have been an email. Phrase 83. I'm not built for back-to-back meetings. Meaning, a light, self-deprecating complaint about a demanding schedule. Context. Describing exhaustion from a heavily scheduled day. Example. 6 meetings today with no breaks. I'm not built for back-to-back meetings. Repeat. I'm not built for back-to-back meetings. Phrase 84. Just another day in paradise. Meaning, an ironic phrase describing a stressful or mundane workday as if it were pleasant. Context. Responding to a question about how work is going. Example. How's it going over there? Just another day in paradise. Repeat. Just another day in paradise. Phrase 85. I'll believe it when I see it. Meaning, a skeptical response to a promised change or improvement based on past experience. Context. Reacting to an announcement of upcoming organizational changes. Example. They said they're finally fixing the system. I'll believe it when I see it. Repeat. I'll believe it when I see it. Phrase 86. That's above my pay grade. Meaning, a phrase declining responsibility for a decision, often with mild frustration about being asked at all. Context. Redirecting a difficult or inappropriate request to someone with more authority. Example. Can you approve that budget change? That's above my pay grade, unfortunately. Repeat. That's above my pay grade. Phrase 87. I'm just here to survive the week. Meaning, a resigned, minimal description of professional ambition during a difficult stretch. Context. Describing reduced motivation or energy at work. Example. How's the new project going? Honestly, I'm just here to survive the week. Repeat. I'm just here to survive the week. Phrase 88. We're putting out fires over here. Meaning, a metaphor for constantly managing urgent, unplanned problems. Context. Describing a chaotic or reactive work environment. Example. We're putting out fires over here. The system's been down all morning. Repeat. We're putting out fires over here. Phrase 89. Let's just say it's been an interesting week. Meaning, a vague, understated way of describing a difficult or eventful period at work. Context. Responding to a general check-in without going into detail. Example. How's everything going? Let's just say it's been an interesting week. Repeat. Let's just say it's been an interesting week. Phrase 90. I'm just going to nod and smile at this point. Meaning, a humorous admission of disagreeing with something while choosing not to voice objections. Context. Reacting to repeated, unwelcome directives or changes. Example. Another reorg announcement. I'm just going to nod and smile at this point. Repeat. I'm just going to nod and smile at this point. Phrase 91. That's a whole separate conversation. Meaning, a phrase that signals a topic is too complicated or contentious to address in the current moment. Context. Avoiding a difficult or frustrating workplace topic during a meeting. Example. Don't even get me started on the budget process. That's a whole separate conversation. Repeat. That's a whole separate conversation. Phrase 92. I'm doing more with less over here. Meaning, a complaint about being asked to accomplish the same or more with reduced resources or support. Context. Describing a strained workload due to limited staffing or budget. Example. Half the team got moved to another project. I'm doing more with less over here. Repeat. I'm doing more with less over here. Phrase 93. Not my circus, not my monkeys, but okay. Meaning, an informal complaint about being pulled into a problem that isn't truly one's responsibility. Context. reluctantly agreeing to handle an issue outside your normal role. Example: they want me to fix a problem another department caused. Not my circus, not my monkeys, but okay. Repeat. Not my circus, not my monkeys, but okay. Phrase 94. I'll just add it to the pile. Meaning, a resigned acknowledgement of an already overwhelming workload receiving another item. Context: responding to an additional task during a busy period. Example: one more request came in. I'll just add it to the pile. Repeat. I'll just add it to the pile. Phrase 95. We're all just doing our best out here. Meaning, a broad, sympathetic complaint acknowledging general workplace strain without singling anyone out. Context: responding to a mistake or shortfall with understanding rather than criticism. Example: the report had a few errors, but we're all just doing our best out here. Repeat. We're all just doing our best out here. Phrase 96. I've said my piece. Meaning, a phrase indicating that a concern or complaint has already been voiced and won't be repeated. Context: ending discussion of a workplace frustration after raising it once. Example: I brought it up in the meeting. I've said my piece. We'll see what happens. Repeat. I've said my piece. Phrase 97. That ship has sailed. Meaning, a resigned acknowledgement that an opportunity to change or fix something has already passed. Context: reflecting on a missed chance to address a problem earlier. Example: should have flagged that before launch, but that ship has sailed. Repeat. That ship has sailed. Phrase 98. I'm choosing to stay out of that one. Meaning, a deliberate decision to avoid a workplace conflict or controversial issue. Context: declining to take a side in an office disagreement. Example: there's a lot of tension about the new policy. I'm choosing to stay out of that one. Repeat. I'm choosing to stay out of that one. Phrase 99. We'll cross that bridge when we get there. Meaning, a phrase deferring concern about a future problem until it actually arises. Context: managing anxiety about a potential future workplace complication. Example: what if the client says no to the new timeline? We'll cross that bridge when we get there. Repeat. We'll cross that bridge when we get there. Phrase 100. I'm just trying to make it to Friday. Meaning, a minimal, resigned statement of getting through a difficult work week. Context: describing low motivation or high stress during the week. Example: how's the week going? Honestly, I'm just trying to make it to Friday. Repeat. I'm just trying to make it to Friday. Category 5. The backhanded complaint. Frustration disguised as observation. This category covers complaints aimed at other people or situations, but framed indirectly as neutral observations, jokes, or casual remarks, so they don't sound like direct criticism, even though everyone understands exactly what's being said. Phrase 101. Bless his heart, but he really doesn't get it. Meaning, a softened, regionally flavored criticism that pairs sympathy with real frustration. Context: describing someone's persistent misunderstanding or lack of awareness. Example: bless his heart, but he really doesn't get it, no matter how many times we explain. Repeat. Bless his heart, but he really doesn't get it. Phrase 102. That's certainly a way to do it. Meaning, a neutral sounding phrase carrying clear disapproval of someone's method or approach. Context: reacting to an unconventional or questionable decision. Example: they organize the files by color instead of date. That's certainly a way to do it. Repeat: that's certainly a way to do it. Phrase 103. No comment. Meaning, a phrase implying strong, unspoken criticism by explicitly declining to share an opinion. Context: reacting to something clearly frustrating without directly stating why. Example: what did you think of how they handled that? No comment. Repeat: no comment. Phrase 104. I'll just leave that there. Meaning, a phrase used after a subtly critical remark, signaling the speaker won't elaborate further. Context: making a pointed observation without continuing to explain it. Example: she was 20 minutes late again. I'll just leave that there. Repeat: I'll just leave that there. Phrase 105. Interesting approach. Meaning, a neutral sounding phrase used to signal disagreement or disapproval without direct criticism. Context: reacting to an unconventional decision or method. Example: they didn't test it before launch. Interesting approach. Repeat: interesting approach. Phrase 106. I mean, if that works for you. Meaning, a phrase expressing skepticism or mild disapproval while appearing to defer to the other person's judgment. Context: responding to a choice or plan you privately disagree with. Example: I'm just going to wing the whole presentation. I mean, if that works for you. Repeat: I mean, if that works for you. Phrase 107. Not my place to say, but. Meaning, an opener that disclaims responsibility for an opinion right before sharing it anyway. Context: offering a critical opinion while softening the delivery. Example: not my place to say, but that outfit might not be right for the interview. Repeat: not my place to say, but. Phrase 108. That's one way to handle it. Meaning, a neutral phrase implying that a better way likely existed. Context: reacting to someone's handling of a difficult situation. Example: he just ignored the complaint entirely. Well, that's one way to handle it. Repeat: that's one way to handle it. Phrase 109. She has a lot going on, clearly. Meaning, an indirect, softened way of criticizing someone's chaotic or disorganized behavior. Context: describing a colleague or acquaintance's disorganized state. Example: she missed the deadline again. She has a lot going on, clearly. Repeat: she has a lot going on, clearly. Phrase 110. Good for him, I guess. Meaning, a phrase expressing lukewarm or begrudging acknowledgement, often masking real annoyance or envy. Context: reacting to someone else's success or good fortune with mixed feelings. Example: he got the promotion after being here 6 months. Good for him, I guess. Repeat: good for him, I guess. Phrase 111. That's a choice. Meaning, a short, neutral-sounding phrase implying strong disapproval of a decision. Context: reacting to a surprising or questionable decision. Example, they painted the whole office bright orange? That's a choice. Repeat, that's a choice. Phrase 112. I'm sure they had their reasons. Meaning, a phrase extending polite doubt about someone's decision-making, while implying skepticism. Context. Reacting to a confusing or frustrating decision made by someone else. Example, they canceled the project with no explanation. I'm sure they had their reasons. Repeat, I'm sure they had their reasons. Phrase 113. Not gonna say anything, but you know. Meaning, a phrase implying a clear, unstated criticism the listener is expected to understand. Context. Making an implied complaint without stating it directly. Example, she showed up 2 hours late again. Not gonna say anything, but you know. Repeat, not gonna say anything, but you know. Phrase 114. Well, that's certainly one perspective. Meaning, a phrase signaling disagreement while appearing to acknowledge another viewpoint respectfully. Context. Responding to an opinion you strongly disagree with. Example, he thinks the whole team should work weekends. Well, that's certainly one perspective. Repeat. Well, that's certainly one perspective. Phrase 115. I'll let that speak for itself. Meaning, a phrase implying that a situation is self-evidently problematic without further comment needed. Context. Reacting to something obviously flawed or frustrating. Example, the report had 17 typos. I'll let that speak for itself. Repeat, I'll let that speak for itself. Phrase 116. Some people just do things differently, I guess. Meaning, a broad, softened criticism of someone's unconventional or frustrating approach. Context. Reacting to behavior that differs significantly from your own expectations. Example, he never responds to emails until the last minute. Some people just do things differently, I guess. Repeat, some people just do things differently, I guess. Phrase 117. I won't say what I'm thinking. Meaning, a phrase acknowledging a strong opinion while explicitly declining to voice it, implying real frustration. Context. Reacting to something frustrating with visible restraint. Example, they changed the plan again, last minute. I won't say what I'm thinking. Repeat, I won't say what I'm thinking. Phrase 118. That's very on brand for them. Meaning, a phrase noting that a frustrating behavior is consistent with someone's established pattern. Context. Reacting to predictable but annoying behavior from a specific person. Example, he canceled again at the last minute. That's very on brand for them, honestly. Repeat, that's very on brand for them. Phrase 119. Not my favorite decision, but okay. Meaning, a mild, understated way of expressing disagreement while accepting a decision has already been made. Context. Responding to a choice you disagree with but aren't going to fight. Example, they're moving the deadline up a week. Not my favorite decision, but okay. Repeat. Not my favorite decision, but okay. Phrase 120. I could say something, but I won't. Meaning, a phrase implying strong, restrained criticism, deliberately left unspoken. Context. Reacting to a frustrating situation with visible self-control. Example. He took credit for the whole project in the meeting. I could say something, but I won't. Repeat. I could say something, but I won't. Phrase 121. She's, something else. Meaning, a vague, softened description implying difficult or frustrating personality traits. Context. Describing a challenging colleague or acquaintance without direct criticism. Example. How's the new manager? She's, something else. Repeat. She's, something else. Phrase 122. That's a very confident decision. Meaning, a phrase implying that a decision was made with more certainty than the situation actually warranted. Context. Reacting to a risky or poorly considered choice. Example. They launched without any testing at all. That's a very confident decision. Repeat. That's a very confident decision. Phrase 123. I trust they know what they're doing. Meaning, a phrase expressing polite skepticism disguised as trust. Context. Reacting to a decision you privately doubt. Example. They're restructuring the whole department overnight. Well, I trust they know what they're doing. Repeat. I trust they know what they're doing. Phrase 124. That's certainly bold. Meaning, a neutral-sounding compliment that implies real doubt about the wisdom of a decision. Context. Reacting to a risky or unconventional choice. Example. He's quitting with no backup plan. That's certainly bold. Repeat. That's certainly bold. Phrase 125. I'll just quietly disagree over here. Meaning, a phrase acknowledging disagreement without initiating open conflict. Context. Declining to challenge a decision directly while making your position known. Example. They think the old system was better. I'll just quietly disagree over here. Repeat. I'll just quietly disagree over here. Category 6. The bonding complaint. Grumbling as social ritual. This final category captures complaint as connection, a shared, almost affectionate ritual Americans use to bond with strangers, coworkers, and friends over universal, low-stakes frustrations like weather, traffic, and modern life. Phrase 126. Can you believe this weather? Meaning, a classic, universal opener for bonding over shared discomfort with current conditions. Context. Making small talk with a stranger, neighbor, or coworker. Example. Can you believe this weather? I feel like I'm melting just walking to the car. Repeat. Can you believe this weather? Phrase 127. This traffic is no joke. Meaning, a shared complaint about a common, widely understood daily frustration. Context. Discussing a commute with a coworker or friend. Example. This traffic is no joke lately. Took me 45 minutes just to get 4 miles. Repeat. This traffic is no joke. Phrase 128. Isn't it always the way? Meaning, a phrase inviting shared recognition of a common, mildly ironic frustration. Context. Commiserating over a small, universally relatable inconvenience. Example. Of course, it starts raining right when we finally get outside. Isn't it always the way? Repeat. Isn't it always the way? Phrase 129. You and me both. Meaning, an expression of solidarity and shared frustration with someone else's complaint. Context. Agreeing with someone's complaint about a shared experience. Example. I'm so ready for this week to be over. You and me both. Repeat. You and me both. Phrase 130. Tell me about it. Meaning, an expression of strong agreement and shared frustration, inviting further commiseration. Context. Responding to someone else's complaint with immediate empathy. Example. This line has not moved in 20 minutes. Tell me about it. I've been here since it opened. Repeat. Tell me about it. Phrase 131. We're all just trying to survive out here. Meaning, a broad, humorous phrase bonding over shared, universal, daily struggles. Context. Commiserating with strangers or coworkers about ordinary difficulties. Example. Gas prices, grocery prices. We're all just trying to survive out here. Repeat. We're all just trying to survive out here. Phrase 132. It's not just you. Meaning, a reassuring phrase validating someone else's complaint as a shared, widely felt experience. Context. Comforting someone who is venting about a frustration. Example. I feel like I'm the only one struggling with this. It's not just you. Trust me. Repeat. It's not just you. Phrase 133. This is why I don't leave the house. Meaning, a humorous, exaggerated complaint about an inconvenient or chaotic outing. Context. Reacting to a frustrating errand or public experience. Example. The line was out the door and the AC was broken. This is why I don't leave the house. Repeat. This is why I don't leave the house. Phrase 134. Nobody tells you how hard this is. Meaning, a relatable complaint bonding over an underappreciated difficulty of everyday life. Context. Discussing a common but often unacknowledged struggle, like parenting or adulthood. Example. Nobody tells you how hard it is to keep a houseplant alive. Repeat. Nobody tells you how hard this is. Phrase 135. We're in this together, unfortunately. Meaning, a phrase bonding over a shared, mutual frustration or difficulty. Context. Commiserating with someone experiencing the same problem. Example. Both our flights got delayed. We're in this together, unfortunately. Repeat. We're in this together, unfortunately. Phrase 136. Same struggle, different day. Meaning, a resigned but warmly shared acknowledgement of an ongoing, common frustration. Context. Responding to a check-in with a familiar, relatable complaint. Example. How's it going? Same struggle, different day, honestly. Repeat. Same struggle, different day. Phrase 137. This economy, am I right? Meaning, A casual, humorous complaint about financial pressures, inviting shared agreement. Context: commiserating over rising prices or financial strain. Example: groceries cost twice what they did last year. This economy, am I right? Repeat: this economy, am I right? Phrase 138. Adulting is hard. Meaning, a light, relatable complaint about the general difficulty of adult responsibilities. Context: bonding over shared frustration with mundane adult obligations. Example: I just spent my whole Saturday doing laundry and paying bills. Adulting is hard. Repeat: adulting is hard. Phrase 139. Aren't we all? Meaning, a phrase expressing shared, universal exhaustion or frustration in response to someone's complaint. Context: agreeing with a general complaint about being tired or overwhelmed. Example: I'm so tired. Aren't we all? Repeat: aren't we all? Phrase 140. Story of my life. Meaning, a phrase expressing that a specific complaint reflects a recurring, familiar pattern. Context: reacting to a small frustration that feels representative of a larger pattern. Example: the one day I'm running late, every light is red. Story of my life, honestly. Repeat: story of my life. Phrase 141. It's giving Monday energy. Meaning, a modern, casual complaint attributing a frustrating mood or atmosphere to the difficulty of a specific day. Context: describing low motivation or a chaotic feeling, especially early in the week. Example: everyone's a little on edge today. It's giving Monday energy. Repeat: it's giving Monday energy. Phrase 142. I feel that in my soul. Meaning, an exaggerated expression of deep, relatable agreement with someone's complaint. Context: responding to a complaint that resonates strongly. Example: I'm so sick of my alarm clock. I feel that in my soul. Repeat: I feel that in my soul. Phrase 143. We've all been there. Meaning, a comforting phrase validating a complaint as a shared, common experience. Context: responding sympathetically to someone's frustration or mistake. Example: I completely blanked in the meeting. We've all been there. Don't worry about it. Repeat: we've all been there. Phrase 144. This is a universal struggle. Meaning, a broad, humorous phrase framing a specific complaint as widely shared human experience. Context: reacting to a common, relatable frustration. Example: trying to fold a fitted sheet is a universal struggle. Repeat: this is a universal struggle. Phrase 145. You're preaching to the choir. Meaning, a phrase indicating complete agreement with someone's complaint, since the listener shares the same frustration. Context: responding to a complaint you already strongly relate to. Example: I'm so tired of getting spam calls. You're preaching to the choir over here. Repeat: you're preaching to the choir. Phrase 146. That's rough, buddy. Meaning, a casual, sympathetic acknowledgement of someone's complaint, often used lightly or humorously. Context: responding to a minor frustration with mock or genuine sympathy. Example: my coffee order got messed up again. That's rough, buddy. Repeat: That's rough, buddy. Phrase 147. It's the little things, right? Meaning, a phrase acknowledging that small frustrations can accumulate into real annoyance. Context: commiserating over a minor but irritating inconvenience. Example: the elevator's broken again, so it stares for everyone. It's the little things, right? Repeat. It's the little things, right? Phrase 148. We're not okay, but we're okay. Meaning, a humorous, contradictory phrase acknowledging shared struggle alongside continued resilience. Context: bonding over ongoing difficulty while maintaining a light tone. Example: how's everyone holding up? We're not okay, but we're okay, somehow. Repeat. We're not okay, but we're okay. Phrase 149. This too shall pass, hopefully soon. Meaning, a phrase combining a traditional expression of hope with an honest note of impatience. Context: commiserating over a difficult but temporary situation. Example: this construction outside my apartment is endless. This too shall pass, hopefully soon. Repeat. This too shall pass, hopefully soon. Phrase 150. At least we're in it together. Meaning, a closing phrase finding comfort in shared struggle, even when the struggle itself can't be fixed. Context: ending a shared complaint on a note of connection rather than resolution.